person today. Nice turnout today. Still have room for you. And if you want to dress up in your Halloween costume, we invite you to come on and join us here for lunch at Wings, etc. And we want to remind you that in addition to their award-winning jumbo wings for dine-in, carry-out, or with DoorDash delivery, they have a full menu of things, about 70 different items that are not wings at Wings, etc., including their revamped burger menu. Here at Wings, they've got wraps, subs, quesadillas, entree salads, smoked ribs. Their appetizer lineup includes their ultimate nachos, their spicy deep-fried pickle chips, and if you're coming for lunch, their daily lunch specials start at just $9.49. It is the home of the Red Hawks Coaches Show, Wings, etc., good food and great times. And we're going to be talking it over with the Red Hawks football coach, Tom Matukowicz. Defensive lineman Stephen Lewis is going to join us a little bit later on in the show, so stay tuned for that. He is a popular cat since he walked in the door. Stephen Lewis, get a chance to catch up with him. Coach Tom Matukowicz is here. How are things, Coach?
Good. Can you hear me there?
All right, let's see what we got here. All right, try it now.
Test 1, 2.
All right. Try it again.
Is that any better?
No. Well, I tell you what, we'll take a quick commercial break, Coach. We'll get you hooked up.
I can just scream at everything.
We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll get Coach going here. Quick timeout. We'll return to Wings after this. It is the Red Hawks Coaches Show on SEMO ESPN. Equipment malfunction. We've got a headset that we've been using for years and years, and it decided to flake out on us here. So we got Coach a handheld mic. How are we doing now, Coach?
Good. I think everybody's got me now.
All right. Well, so how are things going? It's been a long time since we've done a show after a Red Hawk loss. It was 6 wins in a row, and the homecoming game, they squeezed you out in the end.
Yeah, you got to give Eastern Kentucky credit. You know, it's obviously you could point to plays, but ultimately they did what they needed to do to come into Houck and beat a ranked opponent. So certainly going to give them respect, and I'm not going to cheapen anything because that was a job well done by them. Was looking forward to shaking the quarterback's hand after the game, and really impressed with him even more so than I was before the game. And so really talented quarterback, and now there's the lessons to be learned, but we got to turn the page. Can't let Eastern Kentucky beat us twice. We got to go 2 road game here stretch, and the mission's still there. So we just got to get after the things that we need to improve and continue to prepare.
Parker McKinney, he came into the game, the Eastern Kentucky quarterback, 6th in the nation in passing yards, had a big day throwing the football. He finished with 398 passing yards. With all due respect to Lindenwood's quarterback, Cade Brister, that's the best quarterback that you've played, in my opinion.
I agree. Better than even Iowa State. So he was a great player. You could just tell, that he's been there 5 years. This is the 3rd year in the same system. So that's also they were able to keep their staff together, offensive coordinator, head coach, and all that. And he played in that system for 3 years, and that's what it looks like.
So I don't know how much you had a chance to talk with Coach Wells. I saw you talking with him before the football game. But for those who don't know the story with Coach Walt Wells, he had what they term a widowmaker heart attack on the Sunday at the Eastern Kentucky football offices prior to their season opener. He had 95% blockage. They had to put the paddles on him 3 times, and the athletic trainer who was there, who rarely goes into his office if his door is closed, had gone to restock his refrigerator, and he heard something. Coach Wells had fallen and hit his head on the side of the desk, so he went in and saw him in crisis and gave him mouth-to-mouth, put the paddles on him. That initially saved his life. They had to paddle him again in the ambulance, and then when they got to UK Hospital, and within a couple of weeks he was back on the sideline. That was his 6th consecutive game. So what a story that is, and just a miracle that Coach Wells was even there. They say those widowmaker heart attacks, more often than not, you don't recover.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think, for coaches, it's just that perspective, we don't get off the field on 3rd down, it's not as big a deal when you're recovering from a heart attack, right? And so, so happy that he was able to get through that. And, it's just crazy how things work. I mean, literally maybe 10 minutes, if the trainer doesn't come in there, it's over. And so I need to start being a lot nicer to my trainers. I promise you, Ben ain't putting his lips on mine.
Well, my wife is an ER nurse, and when I told her the entire story, she said that trainer saved his life. If that trainer doesn't find him, he does not make it.
Yeah, and he said the same, and great for him. So
I just didn't know if many people knew the story. We had talked about it, on the coach's show after we had heard that he was in crisis, and they called it a cardiac episode. But he was very open on their coach's show, and he gave all the details that I just gave about just exactly what happened and the miracle that he's still around. And they were fearing brain damage, and that never happened as well. So just a really good story there. We would have liked to have seen him walk out of Houck after a loss. The one thing that you and I have talked about several times, I know you talk about it with your team as well, but one of our conversations is you have been a little frustrated sometimes. You move the ball into the red zone and you're settling for field goals. I know you want touchdowns, and we kind of saw that a little bit on Saturday.
No, you hit it on the head. We've been talking about it, and it ended up costing us a win. We punted once and scored 23 points. And you can't do that. So, at the end of the day, we're moving the ball. We're having a lot of success, but we got to come away with touchdowns, and that'll be one of our number 1 keys to victory on offense this week. And, we had the 4th and 1, but it was also a 3rd and 1 that we made a mistake and ended up 4th and 1 and then going for it. And nowadays football, you can't have the ball on the 10-yard line on 4th and 1 and kick a field goal. Like, you got to go for it just because points – they were probably going to get to at least 28. They've been averaging 35. And so once you're down in there, you got to try to get touchdowns. And so, you know, we haven't solved the problem, and we got to get it solved soon.
I know one thing that I've noticed when you get down to the 10-yard line or when it's first and goal, a lot of times it's strictly the passing game down there. And Geno Hess really doesn't touch the ball a whole lot. And didn't down in the red zone a whole lot on Saturday, and I'm sure that's probably something that you see defensively where you think you might have a mismatch.
Yeah, I mean that's that's how our offense kind of works. You know, when they have them all loaded in there, and they're one-on-one out there, that's what we do. We throw it out there. You know, if they're doubling Johnny or whatever, then we'll hand it off. So. You know, we just got to do a better job of executing.
Who gets doubled more, Flournoy or King?
I think it's mostly the boundary guy. You know, whoever's into the boundary, it's a little easier to double. You know, the field guy gets a lot harder to double.
How about Ryan Flournoy? 15 catches, 256 yards, and a touchdown. It's one of the greatest days for a wide receiver in school history.
Yeah, and had a 60-yarder called back, or he would have blown it up. Of course, we've been talking about him all, you know, since he's been here, and he's a super talented guy. Probably the best story, or what I'm going to always remember about Ryan, is he had a career day. We go in the locker room, and he's sitting there crying. He's been here for 6 months. Like, how in 6 months can a guy love our program, love his teammates that much that even on a career day he's devastated, you know? And so just thankful for that type of team, and we had lots of guys devastated, you know. And
it shows his investment in this program.
Right, you bet. If he just came to get his, he got his. He didn't, you know. He came to be a part of something bigger than himself and accomplish the mission, and you know, it's tough.
And your quarterback in the game, Paxton DeLaurent, threw for 375 yards, couple of interceptions, and a lost fumble. And you were telling me, as we're trying to watch the replay, there was a lot of congestion around him when the fumble happened. And you're saying that the ball wasn't swatted out. It just popped loose, and they fell on it.
Yeah, he basically went back, and it dropped out. And so it's the second time it's happened this year, and we just got to do a better job of coaching him. He's got to accept coaching, and you know, it's basically what we got to do with every athlete. Like Paxton DeLaurent looks like a really, really good player that's a sophomore. I mean, you know, you see all these plays and you think he's a ready-made guy. Nobody's a ready-made guy at Division I. Like, there's so much skill to build there, and he's got to build the skill. And number one, you know, he can't turn the ball over, or there'll be another quarterback in there. Because at the end of the day, you go -3, we'll lose against Tennessee State again. You know, can't turn the ball over. So you got to do a great job. And they happen, but you can't have unforced turnovers. The last pick was a tip ball, or they tipped his arm. Otherwise, it was open. But still, it was mechanically, he shortened in his drop, and he shouldn't have been at risk. It was good protection. The play was there, and we got to make that play.
All right, now let's walk through that play, because we couldn't tell that his arm was hit and the ball ends up in a part of the end zone where the route was not run. Take us through that final play, because I really believed, and I'm sure there are Red Hawk fans, especially that went to SIU, who really believed that final drive, you're going to go down and stick it in the end zone. I really thought you were.
Yeah, it was a homecoming, come from behind win, going into the tents, just like what you practice and dream about, right? We have 4 verts into 3 high, which is a great call versus that scheme. It's there. He's got to deliver it on a rope. He can't, you know, launch it in there, and kind of shortened up his drop, gathered up, got into some pressure that he didn't need to get into if he had just done his original drop. And a guy reached out and tapped his arm, and then it flooded out, and then they were able to run underneath it and catch it. Game over.
How did his rib respond? Because there was some question about, you know, how bad is the rib injury? Is he going to play? And he was in there, and he took every snap.
Yeah, he got hit once pretty hard. other than that, pretty clean. And he's tough. I mean, he's my kind of guy for sure. Like, he's a tough guy. He's not going to let things like that be an excuse to not play at an elite level. And so super proud of how he handled that pain.
What I noticed, and I could be completely wrong, because he did take off and run for a first down. He took off, ran for a touchdown. Early in the game, it looked like there were opportunities where maybe earlier in the year, boy, there's a play where he's going to take off and run, and he did not. And I thought, well, maybe he's under instructions. Hey, we're not going to do anything risky here. You're already banged up a little bit. Let's be a little more cautious. That doesn't mean not take a first down run if you're going to get it. Was he under instructions? Be a little cautious here.
No, I mean, I think that was early on was a mistake. You know, we try to stay out of 3rd and 10. You know, if it's second down and you scramble, just get it to 3rd and 5. That's a way easier little thing. But, you know, the instruction was, you know, once you get there and things start coming on you, you know, get down or preserve yourself a little bit. And you know, he still goes sideways, way too sideways for me. You know, we got to get that out of him because every guy on that field is trying to kill him. They would love to mount his leg on their wall. You just got to understand, you know, as soon as you start going sideways, there's things you can't see. And these dudes spent all week dreaming about the big hit, you know, and so that's, again, a sophomore, just get what you could get, but let's live to fight another day here.
And Johnny King, 7 more catches for 87 yards. Boy, how tough of a defensive matchup is he for defensive backs?
Yeah, did a great job. I think our receivers, one thing that I appreciate is just how hard they ran the ball. We threw a lot of no-yardage passes out there, just quick screen passes, and they did a great job running after the catch. And Johnny ran through some arm tackles, and they ran really tough.
And I thought DeMaurier Vick blocked really well for Ryan Flournoy. Oftentimes they were paired together on that little wide receiver screen. It went to Flournoy, and Vick was his blocker.
No, it did a great job, and, you know, you wish he'd got his hands on more balls. It's just the game didn't pan out that way. But those 3 guys are pretty good receivers.
And it really looked like early on in the game, Eastern Kentucky could tell. I mean, their starting running back averaged 2.5 yards per carry, 31 rushing yards on 12 carries. I think they could tell early in the football game they weren't going to be able to run on you. Not many teams have been able to run the ball against you.
Yeah, no doubt, and did a good job. Defensively, we made them earn what they got, and that was a big key to victory. We didn't want to give up the cheap, explosive plays, and we did that. And to be honest, I thought 28 was a winnable score. I thought if we held them to 28, I would have said we'd have won the game. You know, so it's not that I was happy with the way our defense played, because on 3rd down we got to be able to get off the field quicker. But, you know, that game we needed to hold them to 21, and we weren't able to do that.
Their longest pass play, 48 yards. They didn't hit these explosive pass plays like you have hit against opposing teams this year. The 48-yarder came on 3rd and 10 in the 4th quarter when they ran Brandon Sloan, the running back, out of the backfield. You had a defender there. He was able to shake free from the defender, went for 48 yards. That was their only real, truly explosive play in the entire game, and it came 3rd and 10 late in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, and that was a big one because, you know, we needed to get off the field at that point. You got a great situation, and we did make a tackle. But what I'm going to show the team today at 4, that was an unbelievable job of responding, though, because I can't tell you how hard that is. You give up a play like that, it feels like you just lost the game, and to go then play another 3 downs and get them stopped to a field goal, which then make the final drive mean something, because if they'd have let them go in, it was a 2-score game, then it's ball game, right? And so for them to respond like that, again, points to the level of maturity of the football team.
Getting pressure in the game on McKinney just didn't happen very much. I mean, he had a lot of time back there, and a guy that's a 5th-year junior, he's actually got another year of experience. I know talking to their radio guy, they're kind of nervous that some bigger school may try to sweep in and, you know, snatch him away from Eastern Kentucky. But
if he needs a reference, call me.
But a 5th-year guy, and, boy, he had time to operate. Sometimes that's the product of a 3-man rush, and it seemed to me on times that you would bring backers, they did a good job of picking up those blocks and keeping the backers off of McKinney. What were your thoughts on that?
I agree. It just didn't hang on the ball. You know, the only time he hung on the ball was when we rushed 3. We brought 5, he knew right where to go and hit it. We brought 6, he knew right where to go and hit. I mean, it was just, you know, it was like he's playing with the cheat code a little bit there. But again, you know, we had several third down situations that if we just get off a couple more of them, give the ball back to our offense, maybe that would have been the key to the football game, you know.
So it's 13-0 at halftime. You get the touchdown called back, and Flournoy was so wide open. I mean, that's going to be one of the easier touchdowns of the season for Paxton and Flournoy. What did you see on the play?
Yeah, our center, Zach Gigg, you know, kind of got caught on a twist, and a guy got up underneath him, and he got his hands up underneath it. It was not a stupid penalty, but it is a penalty. You know, it's just what happens when you're in a fist fight every day. Like sometimes things happen, right? And, you know, that's why you got to play so hard. That's why, you know, you got to play so smart, because sometimes those are the type of things that happen, and it was unfortunate.
And I know you look at that penalty because the touchdown came back. You only had 3 penalties in the football game.
Yeah, and no stupid ones, which is really nice. They had one, but, you know, pretty clean game that way.
And as far as the running back, Geno has 19 carries, 81 yards, Coach. He is creeping in on the all-time rushing record, and thought he might have a chance to get it last week, but he's definitely going to have a chance to do it on Saturday. I know that. I know individual accolades are not the things that you're looking for. You're looking for team things to happen positively, and but this would be one heck of a statement, especially I know the offensive line would take a lot of pride in that.
You bet, and that's the thing. Like, we just need to stop talking about it. He needs to stop thinking about it, because it'll happen. But how, you know, you got to manage expectations. You start telling yourself you want to do it on homecoming, that's how you get disappointed, right? Like, at the end of the day, it's a byproduct of a lot of people's work. It will happen this week or this year, obviously. If it happens this week, great. If it happens the next week, great. The point is that it happens, and it will happen. But don't make that be the goal.
And one of the other things, you did have one of your starting linemen out. Chiron Rogers, your left guard, did not play.
Yeah, and we think we'll get him back this year or this week. Kobe Sixkiller got a little banged up, so I'm not sure if he'll be available. But come out of the game fairly healthy.
And that's the thing. Every week you never know how the injury situation is going to go. And I know I always ask you at the end of the game, how healthy did you get out of there? So this wasn't a bad game in terms of guys going down.
No, not too bad, and I think that's just a part of it. They got the same problems. You know, we've still been good, even though we've had lots of players miss games. We haven't had the season-ending injuries that some teams have had, the surgeries, the ACLs, those type of things, and so been fortunate that way.
So with all of the injuries at linebacker, specifically linebacker, how has that affected the defense and how you've had to set defenses against these particular teams? Because some of these teams that you've played can just flat out sling the ball, and I'm talking about Lindenwood, I'm talking about Eastern Kentucky, who have high-level quarterbacks.
Right. You know, it's the pass rush. You know, when we say linebacker, it's like a DN. You know, what we call an outside linebacker, and so that's really where we're suffering, is a lot of the 4-man pass rush, get pressure. You know, your best pass defense is a pass rush, right? And so everybody talks about the passing yardage, and really the passing yardage isn't as big a deal as people make it. But we have been able to get sacks, but they've been mostly been pressures, you know, not a lot of them off the 4-man rush. And I think that goes back to our injuries. Playing more of a 6 DB system because of that.
And another big game for Bryce Norman, Coach. 16 tackles in the football game.
Did a great job, man. He was all over the place. You know, just, you know, doesn't make any mistakes. He is as steady Eddie as they come, man.
I know you have been one of those guys that is kind of asking Bryce, and he's just a sophomore, asking Bryce maybe to be a little bit more of a vocal leader. Do you see him trending in that direction? I don't know if that's his personality or not.
Yeah, we'll see. It's not his role this year. We don't need it to be his role. You know, London and Lawrence does a great job on our defense for us right now. But he needs to continue to build those skills, and ultimately I hope that he feels comfortable enough and wants to be a leader maybe next year.
DC Pippen, 3 field goals. He finished with 11 points. He's still perfect on the year in point after touchdown kicks. He just continues to roll right along. Every time we have one of these guys on the coaches show, they have a big game.
Well, he's doing a great job because of his effort and his mindset, and just super happy for him, man, because he wanted it so hard or so much, and he's worked so hard to develop those skills. And there's just a different walk. There's a different confidence that only comes from good results, right? And he's been able to create those for himself.
Is there as much of a stigma with kickers as sometimes people seem to talk about it? Like, kickers they're different breed of cat. They're not in with any of the position groups. They're not with the DBs or the offensive or defensive linemen. How does that work in college football?
Yeah, they're weird. But weird is good, and that's what I love about my job is you need the weird ones too, and that's what makes it fun and special. It's like the spice to a great soup is just different things that all come together to make it unique and fun. Like, a lot of these guys wouldn't ever hang out if they weren't on the same football team, right? But that's what makes it pretty cool.
You're pretty deep at kicker. You've got a lot of kickers on the team with Figueroa, Krause, and obviously DC Pippen. We're in Jackson, and you've got a Jackson kicker on the roster.
Yeah.
Logan Bruns, I know he's redshirting. What can you tell us about Logan Bruns and his transition from going to high school football to a Division I program?
Well, he has a Division I leg, which is what we kind of always thought, and he has the talent to kick at this level. It's just whether or not he can develop the skill to kick at this level. You know, he's pretty underdeveloped in high school. They didn't kick a lot. You know, he was a multi-sport athlete, and a lot of Division I kickers sell out to that even early on. They have their kicker coach and all that stuff. But if he's willing to work at it, I assume that he's going to be a great kicker for us.
I know he was a touchback machine in high school, but in college it's 5 yards further back. You're kicking from the 35 in college football. Does he have that kind of leg where he can be a consistent touchback guy for you? Because
he has the leg, but he doesn't have the consistency.
Okay.
So sometimes it looks like me driving range. I mean, it's like, where the hell did that go? So that's what can't happen, and that's why he's got to build that consistency. Even though he's got the leg to be a tremendous kicker, we're not going to put you out there unless you can, 95% of the time, put it where we need it.
You mentioned that Paxton DeLauren only took one big hit in the football game. How did the offensive line grade out on Saturday?
I thought they did a hell of a job. I really did. I thought the protection was there. I thought we ran the ball strong. We had nice yardage there, averages. Just another really good day by them.
How about the defensive line? We've got a defensive lineman here we're going to be talking to in just a few minutes.
Yeah, did a nice job and stopped the run, which is their main job. And, I was happy with them.
Is Stephen Lewis the strongest human on the roster?
He is definitely would get my vote. I don't study the stats, but he is a strong human being. I love Stephen Lewis, man. Tell you how kind of the recruiting process started. So he come to camp, and him and his mom came down to camp. He worked out for us. We ended up thinking he could play, but I wasn't sure. We ended up offering him a partial scholarship. And I don't think anybody else did. He decided to come here. Got a 4.0 his first year, played as a true freshman, and I call him in. Maybe it was in January. I can't remember. I called you in. So I say, hey, get your mom on the phone. and she was on FaceTime. She's mad because I don't think she had her hair done or whatever. And I gave him a full ride, and I mean you can't even believe you get paid to do this. And then what I found out in that conversation was him and his mom, single mom. That's just, I mean, she's an unbelievable mother. Drove through the night, slept in the parking lot before camp. Slept in her car. And then he went out and earned a scholarship. Now he's on a full scholarship. He's a starter. He's a criminal justice major. Like, criminals want nothing to do with him, I promise you. He worked a full-time job all summer. He's working 40 hours a week at Menards. He worked out at 6 in the morning every morning in the summer. It's just, just everything about him I love, man. Just happy that he's here. I'm happy that he's a Red Hawk. He loves his teammates. He'll do whatever it takes to be successful, and I'm thankful.
So he's from Pontiac, Illinois. That is not a big town, about 11,000 in terms of population. How does he get on your radar?
Just come to camp. I'm not sure how. We showed some interest, and maybe he came to camp. I'm not exactly sure, but the recruiting started at camp. We have a padded camp too, he's the exact reason that we have padded camps, because, anybody could come to camp and look good in your underwear, run around a cone, right? Well, last time I checked, football's not like that, right? And so we had padded camps, and when, we were doing the more physical stuff at camp, that's when he really showed up and ended up giving him an opportunity. And that's what life's all about, is making the most of your opportunities, And unfortunately, some guys don't get as much opportunity as other guys, and he got his, and he has ran with it.
That's what you hear a lot when guys have their pro workout day. You see them out there in a T-shirt and shorts. The quarterbacks are throwing to receivers and everything. How much can you really glean from that? Let's get the pads on.
Exactly. So, like I said, I can't wait to – I'm not sure if he's been on the radio show or not, but you guys get to know him a little better, because he's what I want SEMO football to be all about.
He's going to join us when we come back. Stephen Lewis will be our guest. It is the Red Hawks Coaches Show from Wings Etc. on SEMO ESPN. Wings Etc. in Jackson. And by the way, programming note, no show next week because the SEMO women's basketball team kicks off its regular season at 11 a.m. They'll have their annual classroom on the court game, and we will obviously be there. We'll have it right here on SEMO ESPN. So in 2 weeks, we're back in Cape Girardeau. So programming note, don't show up for the show next week. Show up at the Show Me Center to watch Rika Patterson's Red Hawk women kick off the season. And the Red Hawk men will play next Monday as well, 7 o'clock. They'll be in Tampa, Florida, and they'll take on the University of South Florida Bulls. That'll be a 7 o'clock tip-off. Yeah, it's not kickoff. It's tip-off for the Red Hawk basketball team. Did you know that at Wings Etc. they have over 70 items on their menu that are not wings, and that includes their freshly revamped new burger lineup, which includes their Diner Mushroom and Swiss Burger. You will love that one. Check out their burger lineup, and if you would like to get wings delivered to where you are, they deliver now through DoorDash. All you need to do is download the DoorDash app. It'll take you just a couple of minutes, set up an account, place your order, and you can have Wings Etc. delivered. Or if you want to watch all of the latest sporting events, drop by Wings. They'll have Monday Night Football on tonight. The Bengals and the Browns. It's Game 3 of the World Series. You can watch it right here at Wings, either in Cape, Jackson, or Dexter. We've already done a coach's show from Dexter. Let's welcome into the show Red Hawks defensive lineman Stephen Lewis. Glad you could join us, Stephen. How are you?
Good. Thank you for inviting me.
So what'd you get to eat?
I got me some wings, like garlic parmesan and tweener hot buffalo.
Every player that we have on is different about whether or not they like bone-in or boneless. Where do you sit?
I got bone in.
Bone in.
Yeah.
So that's your preference, right?
Yeah, I like to get a little nasty when I eat the food.
Nasty for a lineman. That's good news. Now we asked Coach Took if you were the strongest human on the team. What say you?
I mean, I do got the highest squat, but like I'm not one of the strongest. Like there's other people that's stronger than me. I just. No, just
what, you say you've got the highest what?
Squat.
Squat. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about how much your max squat has been.
The highest I got was this summer. It was 645.
645. What were you doing in high school?
I would probably say around 405, 500.
Boy, so you can really tell what it's like to be in a Division I strength and conditioning program. Tell us what that has been like, especially for a lineman. I mean, the weight room is so much of a big part of your entire cycle. Moving from high school, and then all of a sudden you've got a coach like Coach Knapp, and you're in the weight room every day.
It was a big transition because I didn't really get to lift as much in high school because I was doing so many sports, so I didn't really have to get an off season unless it was in the summer. Then I was in camps, but it's been a big transition. You know, with Knapp, he did a great work with me and also with the team. Just like the program he has set just was like proven like to get like have all your maxes go up and everything like that. So it's been a big and good transition.
There's always a guy or two that when they are in the weight room, say they're on you're squatting or somebody's going to bench something, where guys will stop and they'll watch a certain individual or a couple of individuals. Are you one of those guys that the guys will stop and watch when you're getting ready to squat?
I mean, yeah, they all do that, but we all do that for everybody else. Doesn't
Okay.
matter what position. Like with the freshmen when they were in the summer when they had their own thing, like some of us guys would just go and watch them max out. It's just like a big support group that we have.
Who's got the number one bench on the team?
I believe it'd be Sam Keeper. He's the only one that got 405.
Now, Sam Keeper plays your position.
Yes, he does.
All right, tell us a little bit about playing side by side with Sam.
Sam, he's a good player. He's very strong, and like he's one of those he put his head down and he would just put his hand in the dirt and just do his job and get the job done.
Tell us about playing alongside London Manuel. We've had him on this show, and I know he is one of the true leaders on that team and for the defense.
I mean, yeah, it's good to play along with him. Like he took me under his wing my freshman year, as he does with everybody else. Like he's just a good mentor. Like he knows the defense inside and out. Like when we get in meeting rooms, like he'd be texting Coach Williams, like the scouting report, like the Sunday and Monday.
Because he's already watched film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like he's probably the only dude I've never ever seen like so dedicated and motivated to see his other players. Just likes to see.
So we heard a little bit about your recruiting process with Coach Took and coming to SEMO out of Pontiac, Illinois. Give us your version of SEMO, how they got on your radar, and your thoughts about coming down here, working out, trying to earn a scholarship.
I mean, I remember I went to like a camp in U of I, and one of the online coaches, he told me to come down for a camp down here, so I came down here.
Now you played offensive line in high school too, right?
I played offensive line, defensive line. I was a kicker, punter.
Really?
Yeah. So I played pretty much on every position.
So you never came off the field?
No, the only time I did was probably kick return.
So an O-line coach from the Illini camp tells you about SEMO. Take it from there.
Then I come down, I think it was sometime in July, and I did pretty good. Coach Duke had me like in the end of the camp, like a King of the Born challenge. I ended up winning that, and then
Now tell us what that is.
it's like two guys head up, and like whoever could push each other back the furthest.
So it's like sumo wrestling in
Yeah,
pads.
pretty
Okay,
much,
all right.
yeah. And then Coach Sy pulled me aside, and then was talking about like they want to talk about giving me an offer, and then I just ended up taking official. Then they gave me an offer, and then I just automatically committed because they were like the only school that believed in me.
So when you come for your official visit and you're wondering about the offer, how nerve-wracking is that?
It was very nerve-wracking, I don't know, just like going to a school that like, you know, wants you to play for them, and then giving you the opportunity to like pay for everything just for, like it's just really good to have that feeling.
And you took it pretty seriously if you and your mom slept in the car the night before, right?
Yes, very seriously, because it's just like we were unfortunate with all the money with her being a single mother household. It's just like we had to make a bunch of sacrifices just for me to get this opportunity.
I grew up with a single mom, so I'm with you. And from Illinois as well. Tell us about Pontiac. You said it's a little ways away from Chicago.
Yeah, I believe it's like an hour 45, 2 hours south of Chicago. And I normally just say it's like 30 minutes north of Bloomington.
Okay.
But it's just a really small country town.
So you're right there in Illinois State's backyard, and they never recruited you?
No, they just never found the interest in me.
Well, that's SEMO's gain for sure. So what was it like growing up in Pontiac? I did see that they've got a Route 66 museum there in Pontiac. You ever been there?
Oh yeah, we have. We always in history class we always like took a trip there, and it was like a big deal in Pontiac. But it was like it's a town like everyone knows everybody. It was a great time to grow up in.
All right, so you're the Pontiac Indians, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, they're the Jackson Indians here. And, of course, Bryce Norman is from Jackson, so, he's an Indian as well as you are. What's it like kind of seeing this kid step onto the field as a freshman? And here it is, year number 2, and he's been the leading tackler ever since he played in one football game.
I mean, he's a very unbelievable, player. I've never seen a player or been on a team with a linebacker that just does what he does. Like, he just keeps his mouth shut, has his jersey tucked, no accessories, just goes out and just balls and then just does his thing. So it's, really good to have him behind.
So he's kind of a quiet guy. Who are the louder guys on the defense?
I would say it's Christian Furman and probably Lawrence Johnson and sometimes William Holmes.
All right. That does surprise me about Furman, man. I mean, that guy gets fired up about everything.
Yeah, I think he does a thing. He just likes to get in people's heads so he could start making them mess up. So.
All right. So you're going up against your offense in practice. Who's the biggest talker on the offensive line?
I'll probably say Zach Gigg.
We've had Zach on this show, so that doesn't really surprise me. You like playing a 3-man front?
I mean, yeah, it was big difference from going to high school because we played a 4-man front, but we still do a 4-man front here every now and then. But I like being in a three-man front way better.
We get emails from your fan club, your family, during broadcasts from time to time. So it sounds like the Stephen Lewis fan club is pretty invested in your career here at SEMO.
Well, I didn't even know I had a fan club, so.
So as you get ready to head to Tennessee State, now they play, I'm sure you know, they play their games in Nissan Stadium. That's where the Tennessee Titans play. How cool is it going to be to play on an NFL field?
I mean, it's going to be a very good experience. Like some people can never get the opportunity just to even get to play on an NFL field. So it'd be a good experience to have.
Okay, so if you're 2 hours south of Chicago, did you grow up a Bears fan?
No, I was a Steelers fan.
Steelers. How did that come about?
I mean, it was like when I always used to watch, it was always like Troy Polamalu and James Harrison. They just always caught my eye, and I just didn't want to be, the follower of the whole Illinois of liking the Chicago Bears.
Plus, Steelers have been way better than the Bears. It's hard to root for the Bears.
Yeah, that is true. They the game they had a couple days ago, it wasn't so pretty to watch.
They just gave up 49 points to the Dallas Cowboys. So the thought process, you guys hadn't lost a game in a while. You'd won 6 in a row, and Eastern Kentucky wins. But the good news is that's a non-conference game, and you got 3 games left with a chance to win an OVC championship. What's the mindset of the football team?
Just right now, just take it day by day, just turn the page, just work on the little things, just know what we didn't do so well against Eastern Kentucky. So it's just like we have to take day by day, just prepare, watch film, and just study our opponent like it's like no other.
Boy, you guys have been so good at stopping the run. How much pride do defensive linemen take in slowing down the opponent's running game?
We take a bunch of pride in it. It's not a very hard thing to do. It's a very hard thing to do. But, it's not just us, it's the whole defense. Like Coach Kuhn and everybody else says, if you do your job, then it's like you have to, the game's like a puzzle. If one piece is gone, then the puzzles ain't going to, work. So everybody has to do their own thing and be together. It's not just us, it's the whole defense.
Okay, how far is Pontiac from Cape Girardeau?
I'll say 4.5 hours.
Is your family able to come down? Are you able to?
Yeah, they come down every weekend.
How fun is that?
That's good, since I'm always down here and I don't really get to see them that often, besides if we go home on breaks. But it's always good to, see the people come down.
All right. Are you on social media? Can we get you some followers here?
Yeah. I got an Instagram. I'm pretty sure it's Big Sugar 99.
Big Sugar, SHUG what?
It's SUGA 99.
SUGA. So Big Sugar what?
99.
99, because that's your number.
Yeah.
99. Was that your number in high school?
No, my high school number is 55.
Okay. How did 99 come about? They just give it to you? Did you request it?
Originally was 92, and then I always wanted 99. In high school, we didn't have that number, so it was always a thing. I have 99, and then Aaron Donald came skyrocketing, and everyone used to call me. I looked like Aaron Donald, so I was like, I'm just gonna stick trying to get 99.
That's a pretty good number to have, Aaron Donald's number, 99. So Big Sugar 99.
Yes, sir.
All right. Great to catch up with you, Stephen. Thanks so much. Best of luck on this chase for the OVC championship. Stay healthy.
We will do it. Thank you for having me.
All right. Stephen Lewis. Appreciate his time. Coach Tom Matukowicz will rejoin us. Talk about the Red Hawks' opponent. They'll be in Music City to play the Tennessee State Tigers coming up on Saturday. That's a 5 o'clock kickoff, by the way. More from Wings Etc. after this timeout. It's the Red Hawks Coaches Show. In Cape Girardeau, thanks to defensive lineman Stephen Lewis. We appreciate his time. He did a great job, Coach.
Yeah, it was great to see him up here, and just like I said, I'm just so proud of him. And you learn something. Big Sugar 99 he's got a little swag about himself too, so that's impressive.
That is, if you're Big Sugar, that is definitely impressive.
Yes.
So we did find out. I don't know that I've ever asked you if you're a bone-in or a bone-less guy. We always talk to the athletes. Or do you flip it up? Do you prefer one over the other?
I have a very strong opinion about this.
Okay.
All right. If you call it a wing and it's boneless, that's not a wing. That's a chicken nugget. So, and I like a bone-on meat, or my meat on the bone. So I'm a big bone-in guy.
I'm a bone-in guy too. All right. Tennessee State is going to be the opponent. They went through this stretch, Coach, where the previous coach, Rod Reed, wanted to bring football games back onto their campus. So they played on their field. It's really old. It's not a good field, but they played there for a while after years and years of playing at Nissan. When they got public funding to build that stadium for the Titans, legislators put a clause in there that everything on game day, every game day amenity, parking, concessions, security, scoreboard, everything has to be operational exactly like a Titans game when Tennessee State plays there, and they have a lifetime lease. I think they're going to build a new stadium for the Titans, so I don't know what it's like going forward. But that's why they play their games at Nissan. The new coach, Eddie George, decided, hey, we're going to move it back to Nissan. He played his games as a Titan there. It's got to be kind of cool, I would think. You know, we talked it over with Steven, some of your guys to play at Nissan Stadium, and you were reminding me, since you've been here, we've never played Tennessee State at Nissan.
Yeah, it'll be a great experience. I'm looking forward to it. It's a little nervous because we're going to travel same day, try to save a little money, and so now you're going into the traffic. That could be, you got to plan extra time, and so that's that's a concern of mine. But great experience, and they're going to build a new one. We need to see if John Robinson will drop the old one off in Cape. I'm sure we could carve out 15,000 of that and then make a hell of a stadium.
John Robinson, SEMO alum, is the general manager for the Tennessee Titans. You have a relationship with him.
Yeah, he's a great Red Hawk. He's gotten an award from our university, and he watches our games. He keeps up with the Red Hawks, and a true tremendous alum. Speaking of that, man, it was a great weekend that way. Zaki Ali was a former football player alum that got an award Friday night, and there's just so many alums back in town. I've told you this in the past that I don't think I've done a very good job with our former football letterman, which after the season I'm going to get on track there. But, man, I'm just so happy that so many people came back, and that's what makes homecoming so fun. It was from the parade to just on campus, man, there was great energy everywhere.
And I bet it was kind of cool meeting some alum that you never met before.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of them came back and gave a tour, and you got to hear their story a little bit. And there's a lot of great history that and some of our best assets are our alums, right? No one can speak to the power of a university like its alums, right? And we need to reconnect, refold them within our program, but even in the university, and get people united, and it's a great time to be a Red Hawk.
And it's a perfect time to not only when you meet them, but hey, we're building a new stadium. We could use all the support we can get from the alums.
Oh yeah, for sure. And just so everybody knows, if you haven't been asked to give, it's coming.
And right now they are taking deposits on season tickets in the new South Grandstands. $25. Put your deposit down. You get a jump start on these season tickets, and I'm sure that's going to be an exciting time for a lot of people. They want to see what the new South Grandstands are all about.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that was great, and I can't wait to open a home next year, right? That's going to be So cool. Can't wait to see what it looks like, and I know a lot of people are excited and getting those seats early.
If it's on the normal rotation, that would mean that SIU's coming here next year. Who's your money game next year?
I know we're open on the road at K-State. What's our home opener?
Still to be determined.
Okay.
To be determined. Brady Barkey is here.
Brady's in charge, so it'll probably be Notre Dame or Penn State. See if Ohio State's busy. I don't know. Go Bucks.
I'm sure Alabama's probably going to.
Or hell.
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead and bring Alabama in there.
Couldn't have played K-State when they were down a little bit. They're up right now. They're really good.
No, that'll be fun. It'll be good. But at the end of the day, it's about the mission. We have 3 games left. They're winnable games, but you can lose every one of them. We found out how that happened, how that could happen, and we got to make sure it doesn't happen again and go win a conference championship.
Now Tennessee State has the #1 scoring defense in the OVC. It's going to be a stout defense you're going to see in Nashville.
Yeah, they got a really good defensive line. They're #1 in pass defense, third down, and red zone. So all critical factors. So our offense is going to be challenged.
And, at some point Murray State was going to get somebody. They were 0-8, and they'd played some tough games, and they got Tennessee State. They held Tennessee State without a touchdown, so you're going to be facing a Tennessee State team that's probably feeling a little desperate and breathing fire. Good football teams will do that after a loss, just like I'm sure your team will be.
Yeah, absolutely. And so they got a good quarterback, was at all-conference a year ago, transfer from Austin Peay. And so, it's a good opponent, and it's a game we have to win. There are no margins. If we lose a game, we don't win a conference. That's just the way it is because we don't play everybody. And, in the past, if you had 2 losses, you still had a shot, where now that's not the case. And so it is what it is, and we need to use that sense of urgency to make sure we detail out our prep this week and that we're ready to go on the road and get a victory.
Kind of an odd start time, 5 o'clock. You don't ever play football games at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, boo.
So a day of the game travel. So in anticipation of that, you're traveling day of game. I know I'll be traveling day of game. So you're always worried, especially when you get on 24. There's a traffic nightmare when you get down near the stadium and any kind of a wreck. So I know already with your anxiety before every football game, which I know every coach has, you'll have a little bit added knowing game day travel.
Yeah, it's just the way it is, and, we got to adapt and adjust. And we did the same thing at their home stadium, a year ago or 2 years ago, and travel same day. It's basically the same drive to EIU. It's just the traffic, and you're not sure. But, if that's what you're thinking about, you're probably going to get beat. And it's not about the trip, it's about how you play.
All right, you saw what Murray State did to beat them. What do the Red Hawks have to do to beat them on Saturday?
We got to respond, meaning that we can't have a pity party and we can't let EKU beat us twice, and then we got to win the turnover margin.
I don't know if most people know this. You went into last week #1 in the nation with the fewest turnovers. You only had 4 turnovers in 7 games. That was kind of a fluky deal that you'd have 3 in one game.
Yeah, just cut me more. You got anything else you want to say about it? Or?
All right. So, again, thanks to Stephen Lewis. We had a nice crowd here today. The president, Dr. Vargas, is here. Brady Barkey is here. And, Coach, we'll see you in Music City.
Go Red Hawks.
All right. That is Coach Tom Matukowicz. That's going to do it here. Thanks again to Stephen Lewis for his time. We've got normal programming coming up here. Max Kellerman on ESPN Radio. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, everybody. So long from the Coaches Show at Wings.